Ghana, the Gateway Experience. It's Brandy, Monica, and Marcus Allen. And so I want to welcome you all to the conversation tonight. How you doing? How y'all feeling? All is well?
All is well.
We came back safely.
Y'all back safely?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we are back safe. No diseases.
To Ghana, the Gateway Experience. It's Brandy, Monica, and Marcus Allen. And so I want to welcome you all to the conversation tonight. How you doing? How y'all feeling? All is well?
All is well.
We came back safely.
Y'all back safely?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, we are back safe. No diseases.
If you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about your experience while you were in Ghana, and I guess how has it impacted you now that you are back? How has it touched you and impacted you?
You want to go first? Well, it impacted me because, as they say, welcome home. I came home, and for me, it just enlightened me from beginning to end. From the beginning of my trip, of the perception of what I thought, and it's really not, to the end of them saying, welcome back, you're my brother, you're my family. And in a lot of key places, it touched me to my heart, because over here in America, we have this stigma of African people, period, to where that, for me, that line is just taken out. And they just welcome me with open arms and love and affection, to the point where in the beginning, I didn't think it was like that over there. And it helped me
expecting, when you say you didn't think it was like that, what was your anticipation?
Like, they didn't really welcome us the way that they did, or they thought of Afro-Americans differently, like we're too privileged. But at the same time, we looked at them as they were less than also. But that bridging that gap is equal all the way around the board, as far as African Americans here and Africans that's there.
So you were able to see the similarities. You were able to see, I guess, a lot of what we have, the misperceptions and everything. When were you nervous on your way over? Was that something? Because I know my first time I was nervous. Were you nervous when you first embarked upon the trip?
I was nervous for the anticipation of what to expect, because of my perception.
Got it.
I think I was nervous more so health-wise, and just as far as what you see on TV. Everything seems so third world.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think, oh, okay, now let me prepare myself to see a bunch of, malnourished children and flies flying around in the porridge and the bowl. And
right. Oh,
those are the things that are really are shown. So it was almost like you when you come from here, you have that privilege of, let me go see what I can do for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I came back with, oh my gosh, what they did for me.
Now that's deep. That's deep, because you again, I understand it, and that's one of the things that prompted me to start leading, these trips. But it was like, when you go, like you said, you're like, wait a minute, I was the one who needed to be. I needed some work on me. How I'm thinking, and what's wrong with me? And I've heard so many people say that, and they get there, and obviously the challenges. You see the challenges there. There's no doubt there are challenges, but we have challenges in America, so this is not like something that it's like we have challenges across the board. Now, something interesting you guys did was you brought your 11-year-old son.
We did
on this trip. Now that's huge because a lot of times folks are like, nah, I don't see the value. And what prompted you to do that, to bring Marcus on this trip?
So it was interesting trying to even decide. I'm not even going to lie and say, oh, we jumped on it. It was our first thought. Let's bring
right
Marcus. Yeah. It really started out with me taking when I saw the text come out, I actually took it to my sibling and was like, hey, let's do a sibling trip. And then I said, this is not one of the places you get to too often. So I can't say, let's just go and experience this with my brother and my sister. And I was like, no, let me bring the whole family. And I even have a 25-year-old who was set to go and last minute didn't go. So I'm upset he got to miss the experience. But with deciding whether or not to bring Marcus, we went through oh my gosh, let me make sure it's entertaining. Oh, are there any other kids going to be there? If there are no other kids, what are people going to say about him being there? Is he going to be in the way? What is he going to be? So my first questions were, I sent the text message to the group and I said, is it age appropriate for an 11-year-old? Are the activities, set up for an 11-year-old? And the response was yes. So it was like I just put all that aside and was like, you know what? Let's go. Now, prepping him for it was something else because I really didn't know I didn't know what I was expecting. So I really didn't know what to feed him for expectations.
Right. Well, I got it. As I'm listening to it, I'm feeling the stress now.
That was that. So it was more of we're going to Africa. When I was like, we're going to Africa, I didn't even get Africa. Can we go back to Alaska or on the cruise? I didn't get that. And one of the things I even noticed while he was there, and he even enjoyed it and embraced it. I put a Facebook post up. I didn't hear about the PlayStation 4, him not having access to that. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear about, oh my gosh, we only got 3 channels and 2 of them are news and one is soccer. That was my complaint. Because I lost my phone, so I didn't have Wi-Fi. So I was the one stuck watching TV. But it was just so much to that even on the parts where I didn't think he got it, questioning him later and even talking to him later, I realized even when we don't think they're listening, they're listening.
They are listening.
And that's probably when they're listening harder, when we don't think it. Because I got so much information from him and just the insight. And one of the things I shared, and he probably get mad that I shared it, is that he actually in the airport on the way back when we were standing in the ticket line, he actually looked down and looked sad. And I said, are you getting ready to cry? And he's like, no. And I said, it's okay to cry. And he actually was not ready to go. He was ready to go, but not ready to go. It hurt him and it hit him. I'm getting ready to leave all this behind. So I would, just that. I'm glad I did because I would have hated to have missed that experience that I got. I experienced it not only through myself, but I experienced it through him. And giving him the opportunity to experience however he did it. I didn't make him, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is what how you got to feel. This is what you're going to see. I didn't give him all that. So I actually experienced it firsthand with him. And that was incredible.
Wow. And this is the first that I'm hearing this because, I've seen some of the glimpses, some of the different posts that you made, but just to kind of hear you articulate it takes it to another level of understanding because, when you think about an 11-year-old going, you really don't know what to expect. And how in America, just 11-year-olds in America is just a different kind of situation. So not knowing, but the thing is that you were willing to make that investment into your son. And even after I've been back and people have heard me, just my account of it, but by them hearing it, it's like so many parents are reaching out to me saying, I want to bring my children next time. I want them to have that experience. I want them, in particular, boys. It's very interesting that a lot of them are boys. I want to take my boys on this trip. and just give them the opportunity to see something different, because we know how we were raised and what we were taught here in this country. Like I say, the negative narratives pretty much about anybody outside of this country, even those countries we would consider developed. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, go visit, but when you come home, you're still at the top of the game. But when you're there, it's like, I was there so long, I was like, wow, I was ready to come home because of familiarity. Right. But then when I got back, because I'm going back in a couple of weeks, I'm like, well, I'm ready to go back. It's kind of crazy. Once you get bitten by the bug, you're like,
I think we didn't already look into the package for this.
We already
we were like, wait a minute, December. That's right. Maybe one of us can go. Right. How about half of us go?
We already thought about that.
Well, that November trip next year is already jumping. That's the one that jumped off. We put it out there, and folks were like, wait. And I mean, they started signing up. And ironically, someone from the group that went this time already signed up to go back. Because they know that, if you know me, it's going to be more. We're going to be doing other things. And I plan on actually going back to Ghana. I'll probably be there 4 or 5 times before the November trip.
We too.
Right. Right.
Just let me know when you go.
Right.
Let us know.
We right behind you.
We'll put in our leave slip.
Because the deal is that as I want to be able to connect people to business opportunities, because Ghana and other parts of Africa are wide open for business opportunities. So that's going to be the next aspect of what I'm adding to the trips. And then, just adding some more, because I had a chance to spend a few more days there than you guys did. So I was able to explore a little bit more. And it's just one of these things that when like my brother and I, we were just kind of walking out at night in the street. We were just walking. We walked to the mall and walked to the lounge. And this was probably, I would say it might have been a good 3/4 of a mile away. So this wasn't like a short walk. And we were able to get there with no problem. We had a good time. I mean, it was just, and I think my mission now is to introduce people to the continent so they understand there's nothing to fear. It's nothing. And then the other part of it, I'm just going to be educating folks on what really happened, as far as why some of the challenges are there and how it connects to what we have here. So it's turned into something more that I didn't see coming. I didn't plan on leading tours to Africa. That wasn't in, I write plays, so I end up in Africa, so it's just kind of funny how all of this stuff evolves over time. But I'm glad that you guys were there. I tell everybody that I could not have asked for a better group of people.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at almost 30 people going on that first trip from all over the country, all age ranges, and just to be in that space with everyone was so encouraging. And as we have our group and everything. We have our Facebook group for the group,
right.
And so we're able to share information and just kind of keep each other up to date, because we really formed a bond. That's the thing. When Marcus got up there on the microphone and Marcus, he was doing his thing. He was like, I said, hey, there he is. I said, the man himself. Check him out. So it's, and again, these are things that I look at that are so important. Why do you think it's important for people to visit, in particular, and I say sub-Saharan Africa because that's the part that really connects with most American descendants of the diaspora, and why do you think it's important for people to visit Africa and really get the full experience of the culture?
I'll say this for me, and of course everybody thinks different, everybody feels different, and we can preach it, we can push it to 100 and maybe 20 will go. But if those 20, even if the 20 that go come back and change some of the 80, it still made a difference. The 100 might not go, but the 20 can still come back and influence. So, be one of the 20. And it also, for me, when census come out, and it was always, and we made a big deal of, going from Black to African American. I was one of those ones. I'm not African American. I'm Black. I'm from DC. I was born in DC. I'm Black.
A lot of people. No, hold on. You're not the only person who think like that now. I've heard that quite a bit in my life, right?
and it because I didn't identify. I had nothing to identify. And it was, more, I could identify with my white side of my family more so than I could embrace that African even existed in me. And just going there, not only did it bust that stigma in me, I mean, not necessarily it was a bad thing, but, it was just a feeling. And I don't have the reasoning as I did the same, the outlook as I did the same. And just knowing and hearing the stories, and it's one thing to see a movie, but it's another thing to be the actor and the character, because you go and you see the movie, and unless that actor put everything into who they are, you really don't get that feeling. But if you're that one that has to put your all into that character or into that person, then you realize the story that you're really trying to tell. And that's the same thing with going there and reading it in a book. Experiencing it firsthand is nothing like reading in the, what we see in the book, because they don't tell us half of what we learn. I mean, we learn so much in 8 or 9 days than I have in 20 years.
There you go. 20 years. I heard you navigating it. There.
Not many years, but no, for real. I mean, I would just, push. I even in coming back and conversing. Yes, I have I'm an introvert at heart, but I do know how to act like an extrovert. And even pushing and talking about the trip. A couple friends of mine at work told me the other day. I said, I'm back from Africa, and they were like, I want to hear all about it. I said, get yourself a couple of hours, because I love talking about it. And it's just something I just haven't been able to stop talking about. And in doing that, I would not be exaggerating, about 10 people already want to go, whether it be on the next trip, but they want to go. And just getting that want to go mentality is one thing. Whether they make it there or not, just wanting to go. Nobody wants to. Everybody was like, going to Africa for what?
You're right.
Yeah, she is right. And I was, to piggyback off her, I was gonna say the misguided information that we was taught through books, like she said earlier. Going there and learning and experiencing it firsthand compared to learning it from a book, it's something totally different. That's why I'm glad that we took our 11-year-old, because he can actually come back to the States, and if there's a discussion about Africa, the children here will actually read it from a book or hear it from a teacher, to where he had firsthand knowledge of knowing what really goes on there.
Walking the walk. I mean, not only this experience. I mean, I see why you called it an experience and not a vacation, because I stutter calling it a vacation, and I even stutter calling Nana and that group, Kofi and Emmanuel. I even stutter calling them guys.
They family.
And they're home. And I can't. And whenever I'm talking, I say guy, just so that you know what I'm type of talking. But it was a host, their friend, and we still talk to them today.
Yeah.
Marcus was just on the phone playing. Emmanuel sent the game request. He and Marcus still played a video on the game on their cell phone, and they still talk, and they built that bond, and they were real.
Yeah.
When they said welcome, and I asked questions, I said it might sound like a dumb question, but why is this? Why is it? Why? What's the goat? Tell me what the significance. Why am I saying goats?
Oh yeah, and cows walking across the street,
eating grass. I'm like,
well, those are lawnmowers. We don't have lawnmowers. The lawnmowers are cows. Oh,
right.
I get it now. It makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I asked him. I sat back there and I asked him anything, and then it even got to the point where it became personal questions and personal conversations, and just learning and experiencing, and that's how you could say it's like a cliche to say, oh, we're family, but we really are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see this being, it wasn't like, okay, it was nice seeing y'all, hugs at the airport, and we never see again. Even like you said with the Facebook group and everybody on Facebook, it really was a good
so many people are reaching out to me, and I think that what happens is, they look at the cost and they're like, I'm afraid, I don't know how I can do this, and it's wow, and so it's like, wow, I don't know how to make it happen, and so for me, back in like March of 2018, I just said I'm going to do it. I said, you know what, I'm going on this trip in November. I'm going to do what I need to do. And the funny part is I put it out on Facebook. I say, does anybody know any tour guides in Ghana? And so somebody on Facebook who knows me said, I know somebody, let me connect you with this person. So to connect me with Nana. But then there were other people already in Ghana who know me from DC, and they were like, look, just come, we got you. You don't have anything to worry about. I was like, wow, people in Ghana know me, So it's kind of like, I was like, wow, what have I done? They're from the DMV, obviously. So,
right.
and they took good care of me when I got there. They looked and they said, well, when I got there, they were able to take me to several different places in addition to where, I went with Nana. And so it was kind of like, wow, and ironically, it's been like that every place I've been in Africa. Ethiopia, that's to say, I met my guide in Ethiopia on Facebook. And then in Tanzania, I'm always networking. So I saw, it was a company I booked it through, but I'm already networking with my folks to say, look, y'all need to be making some of this bread, because these other folks out here, they're coming in here, taking your labor and taking it right back to wherever they are. So let's make sure we get some of this to you and what you're doing. So it's kind of like forming these, coalitions, if you will, these partnerships to where we can create these experiences, but then we can also support them in their country without us being culture vultures and taking advantage of them. It's kind of like a mutual benefit. And it only can be experienced through us in a sense, because we are descendants of much of what has transpired. And so by being able to do that, it's really cool. And I think the way that you all articulated it as far as the importance of people going was perfect. What do you think the biggest takeaway for Marcus was? I mean, for him, or did he
What's your biggest takeaway?
There you go. You gotta ask him.
Oh, there he is.
Say hi.
There he is. So what's your biggest takeaway?
What's your biggest takeaway from your trip? What do you mean? What was your greatest experience? What do you still register in your heart? What makes you want to go back? Why do you keep asking me to go back? What was it that gives you that feeling that you want to go back? The hotel. The hotel. Now that's a good answer.
That's a good thing to put out there, though, just so people know. That's important, That's some people scared to go because they're like, now
we'll be staying there.
They're like, now you gonna have us out there, and where we gonna be staying? Because one of my biggest themes was like, leave America in America. I kept saying, leave America in America, because it is a cultural difference. And it is, and you do have, your body has to adjust, your mind has to adjust. So you really kind of take the first few days just adjusting to the fact that you're there. And then after you kind of like, okay, all right, okay, okay, they don't move at the same pace we move at in America. So no, they have their own
about that.
they have their own pace across the board, all the way to the traffic.
All the way across the board.
All the way across the board.
All the way.
Like when I'm doing the training now, I tell them, I say, look, y'all, the traffic, because like when
gosh.
Man, I'm a truck driver. I'm a truck driver
by trade, right?
Right. And the gentleman that drove the bus, I drove buses too.
Man,
that bus driver, he need to teach me some of his tricks. Because he did exceptionally well.
On dirt roads and potholes
and tight spaces.
That dude, he was driving that bus like a Corolla.
Right, exactly.
I said, I'm watching. And Mr. Billy was like, he said, oh my goodness. In the middle of the traffic, he whipped that bus around. We use the term whipping a bus around. He whipped that thing. I was like, how does he do this and not hit anybody?
Exactly right.
What's up, Tamika?
One little beep. All they do is the beep. Beep.
Right, beep. That beep. And the horn is so loud. You trying to take a nap. Inside the bus, trying to take a nap. You're like, oh my goodness. Oh. But so, you know, those are things, but I mean, even as I think back and I reflect on it, it's just like, I mean, because, you know, there were some times we got, some of us, you know, in the evenings, we went to Afri Kiko and hung out there, saw the line dancing and everything. And then went to Coco Lounge. And so, I mean, it was just, I mean, just the whole, like you said, it was an experience. I mean, climbing through the Canopy Park. And I know, Brandy, you might not want to like remember coming down out of Canopy Park.
Nah, I want you to bring that up.
No, I ain't gonna talk about that too much.
But since you brought it up,
what was that movie with Martin Lawrence? Was it Will Smith when his face was like?
Really?
Oh yeah. Now I'll tell you like this. When I looked, I said, "Oh my goodness," you know, because I was behind you.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, "Oh," and I said, "Did it get you?" He said, "Well, something did." And I said,
and then you tell me you got it on video. I
do.
wanted to see that video. I wanted to see that video.
I'm gonna download that video. I'm gonna download it.
But it's just only sent from you to me.
Okay, gotcha. Only,
and on Facebook Live, nobody's gonna tell you he got stung by a bee. We're not gonna tell you he got stung by a bee.
Hey, Tamika's out there. Tamika Mercer, Jacksonville, Florida. She was with us. She's actually watching us right now. And Lisa, she's out there. Yeah. Lisa's watching. I'm kind of looking to see. And so, I mean, again, it's just one of these things where, you know, we go back, and I'm determined to make sure we all stay connected. That's one of the reasons why I created the group. And that's one of the reasons why I said these experiences are, you know, they're memories that we will carry. I mean, all of it, even the challenging times, we'll carry all of that. And we can look back and laugh at it now. You know, in the moment, we were like, what in the world? But now that we're home and we're able to kind of look back and laugh and say, you know what? The deal is that we could not have created that anywhere else in the world. That was where it was supposed to happen. Everything transpired. I mean, the connections that we made, like you said, with Emmanuel and Nana, and just, you know, all of that happened the way that it was supposed to happen. And I just want more people to have that encounter. And so for me, you know, those same 20 years, Monica, those same 20 years, you know, trying to reconcile 20 plus 26. 20,
20 arrow up.
Yeah, you know, moving it up. But it's like, you know, you kind of go back and you think to yourself, you're like, wow, this is, and I'm just so glad that everybody was able to experience it. That's all. It's sometimes you find that lane that you know you're supposed to be in, and I was able to find it, and that's the beautiful part about this. And so I'm glad that you all were a part of it, and as well as your sister, and I mean just the whole group. I mean, it's I'm going to Vegas in February, so you know I'm going to go see Miss Claudette and Mr. Billy. I'm going out there. They thought I was joking. I said, no, when I come out there, I will be sure that I swing through and spend some time with them, and just, you know, because they were like, okay, so what's the next trip? So I'm working on it. They're ready to go to like on the safari and everything. I said, I'm working on it. I said, for your 90th birthday, Mr. Billy, we're gonna have something, you know, ready for you. And I'm just thinking, for his 90th birthday, and he was getting around because they went to Benin and Togo also.
Oh, they put it to shame. I told him when he finished the road trip, I said, you made it. I said, you making me feel bad. He said, everybody's road is their own road. And I said,
he got a road
for this road.
I said, I admire you. I said, when I grow up, I'm trying to be like you. So
they were really nice.
It's really all of those memories, and again, you know, just thanking you guys for being a part of it, and thanking you all for sharing with everyone, because, and I'm going to talk to, you know, see if some other folks in our group want to come on Facebook Live and talk and share about their experience, and letting people know, hey, there's nothing to fear. I mean, I think everybody got so comfortable at the end, like we almost forgot where we were.
We did.
And actually, when we was at the airport, when they took all the luggage out and everybody was huddled, everybody started to cry. Because because we were, you know, all going back to our residential places, but we just didn't want to leave each other. Because that whole entire time we were there, we formed a family bond from 11 to 89. That's how
11 to 89. That's right.
But we can't just say, this experience. So we really, really, really have to thank you. And it's what you put into it that actually made it a great trip. Yeah, anybody can get off the plane and visit Africa. Mm-hmm. But we experienced it, and we experienced it based on the strength of you. Mm-hmm. We probably would have never, it's not one of the things that you say, let me see, where am I going to go for vacation this week? Let me go to Africa. So it was really because of you and the experience and just the trust that we have in, okay, well, we're going to put, it was the word of mouth, and it was the experience, and
that was not a cheap. That was not a cheap trip. I'm not, no. That's what kind of blew me up. I was like, wow, to myself, I said, this is like, I was like, and as you're talking, Monica, we put a lot of time and energy into just thinking things through and just kind of, putting it together. So for you to be able to see that, for you to be able to see it, it was kind of like, okay. So when I go back to the team, I say, hey guys, and the team here, because you had, obviously the team in Africa.
Oh, yes. Hey, Miss Rose.
Yeah. But there were other people. There were other people, Miss Rose. You had other people. There were people behind the scenes. Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. They definitely not moved.
Yeah. And so for them to know that, and to know that my concern, and I'm gonna tell you, this is what did it. What really prepared me for that trip was Life Camp. Because I said, well, no, I'm not nervous. I'm not stressed. I said, I've been down this road before. As I said, as a matter of fact, this might be a little bit easier because, you got 150 kids, as far as the camp. I said, I've been on the bus before. Under it. Oh yeah. Oh, that too. But you know what? I appreciate that. I recognize it. And I appreciate just everybody trusting us with the process. I'm glad everyone got home safely. When I got the word everybody landed and everybody was going to go, I felt like, that camp director. All the kids home? Okay.
Right. My work here is done.
Like we're good. But again, I just want to thank you all for being a part. I want to thank you all for coming on tonight and sharing. This is my mission. And so as I continue to do it, it'll be a part of everything I do, every production I do in the future. I'm going to talk about the importance of the continent of Africa and understanding it. Everything that I teach, everything that I, when the classes and seminars and camps and everything, I'm going to make sure that we do not neglect Africa and understanding it because it's so vast. It's, it's not just one, you have different parts of it. Northern Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Africa. And I just want us to be educated about what's really happening beyond what they teach us in America, because we don't get 1/10 of the truth here. We get like a little bit what they want to show us to keep us away. They show us that side of it. But helping us to understand, why it's like that. Why do we see the challenged areas? Why are there children with no running water in certain parts? Why are there children dealing with labor slavery? Why is that happening in Africa? And I think that answering that question will help us to adjust our mindsets too, to say, wait a minute, so with all of that said, I thank you guys for being a part. And hey, I'll keep you posted. And if anybody else in the group comes on, I'll definitely let you guys know. But thank you again for being a part. And I look forward to seeing you on future trips.
We do. Thank you. Our visas are multiple and still good. So we will be.
All right. That's it. That's it.